Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to Life Leadership. I want to spend just a few minutes with you today talking to you about some techniques and strategies and why we believe that life leadership is the most viable solution to changing the culture in America today. In fact, I think that's so important that we address that issue right from the get-go. There's a political battle going on right now in America that quite frankly is not going to do a whole lot to change what's going on when it comes to freedom. There's no politician that we are going to elect that's going to wave a magic wand over this country, or any country for that matter, that's going to change what's going on culturally, because politics is downstream from culture. Until you change what's going on culturally, it really doesn't matter what you do politically. And so Life Leadership is an organization that is focused on changing the culture. And so how do we do that? Well, I want to take you back to 2011. Chris Brady and Orrin Woodward are the two principal founders of this organization. But by trade, they were systems engineers. They worked for GM, and Orrin Woodward, just a fascinating individual. He had 4 patents under his belt and a national benchmarking award at the age of 27. He was just doing phenomenal things. But both of these individuals had an epiphany, and that was simply this: we were made to do so much more. And so in 2011, they got this organization started. And they said, you know what, if we want to change the world, we have to identify what the problems are first. And so they identified a core list of problems. And I'm going to outline those for you here, and then I'm going to tell you what our solution is. The number one problem that they identified was people not living their purpose. Did you know that that's the number one deathbed regret? Is that people are not true to their purpose? And that was the number one issue they identified. The issue of faith, and do you understand why you believe what you believe, and are you living out the full measure of your creation? Number 2 is family values. We recognize that family values are under attack. We want to do something about it. Number 3, financial education. Not only do we have a problem politically with how our money is being handled, taxes and on and on and on, but what are we doing in our own households when it comes to finances? We want to educate people on that issue and help fix that problem. Number 4 was fitness, both physical fitness and mental fitness. So helping people, creating a culture that knows how to think critically through the issues once again. And then number 5 is leadership. We have a huge leadership deficit in our culture. And I'm not just talking about politically. I'm talking about in our schools, in our churches, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, all of those things. We've got to raise up leaders, people who truly know how to lead and inspire those around them. We offer education on how to make that happen. I'll get into that in just a few minutes. And next is freedom. Leading people to the core principles of freedom: political, spiritual, economic. We're going to be really effective in facilitating that sort of change by getting better information out there and the right information out there. And then the next problem they identified, number 7, is relationships. You know, we have a terrible problem with our young people, especially. The relationship is with that cell phone, that iPhone, or that whatever that electronic device is. We got to reinvigorate our communities to get out and start mingling with each other and have this sort of reliance on one another, where we're in this together and we're looking out for each other. We want to create that. And then the last issue they identified was fun. How many people are out there really having fun, waking up and rolling out of bed and moving into purpose? The reality is that there's not a lot of that going on. Most people are looking forward to Friday night. They're just kind of tolerating Monday through Friday. And they live for Saturday, and then on Sunday they get that nasty welt in their stomach because Monday's coming. They don't enjoy life. We want to be instrumental in changing some of that. So those are the problems that they identified. So I want you to imagine a house with 8 doors, and each one of those doors represents a problem that I just outlined. Well, if those are the problems, what are the solutions? Well, Zig Ziglar said it this way. He says, you are who you are, where you are, and what you are in life as a direct result of what you've chosen to put into your brain. Well, if you look at the culture is no different. The culture is where it's at as a direct result of the ideas that it's been exposed to. So as you look at those problems, why are we getting terrible results when it comes to finances or leadership or freedom or relationships or really living our purpose? Because people are being exposed to the wrong information, to bad information. You know, the average American listens to 4.5 hours of television. They're watching that on a nightly basis. And we wonder why we're getting terrible results in the culture. See, what we're doing in life leadership is we're creating a revolution. Turn the TV off. turn the radio off and start plugging into information that's going to get you better results. And that's exactly what we're doing in Life Leadership. We're bringing in world-class speakers, experts, and authors, freedom activists to help us come in and create this information that literally is going out to hundreds of thousands of people. Right now, as I make this video, we've got about 300,000 people involved in our organization, and I believe we're on track within the next 18 to 24 months to hit 1 million people, and it's exponential growth from there. We're going to have real impact. So we're doing this all through information. Now, here's where the genius really comes in. You know, for the last decade, you've had all of these grassroots organizations rise up, and they've tried to do phenomenal things, and to a degree, they've done some great things. But here's the problem. They front-loaded the message with freedom. And you might be asking, well, of course they front-loaded the message with freedom. That was their message. Well, let me ask you to consider this. What if most Americans don't care about freedom? Or what if most Americans don't have time to be involved in those ideas? What do you do then? See, that's the problem. That's the genius of Chris Brady and Orrin Woodward. When they came in and created this organization, they said this: we cannot front load the message with information that is not relevant to most people, that most people don't care about. We've got to front load the message with something that is relevant to the masses. In other words, we've got to meet them at their table of relevance, not necessarily ours. And so the front door of our organization is financial education. And so when an individual initially gets involved, he's learning about defense, getting out of debt and staying out of debt. He's learning about how to create additional streams of income, how to become financially free. But here's where the magic happens. We're teaching people right from the get-go about the game that's being played within our system of government that's affecting their freedom, not just economic, politically, the ability to live their lives that they want to, in a way that they want to live it. And so we're teaching people about the Federal Reserve, that it's neither federal and there are no reserves. We're teaching them about fiat currency. We're teaching them about inflation and how this sort of thing is happening within our culture, the printing of money and how that affects the dollar that's sitting in the bank, and how the dollar of 1913 is worth 4 cents today. How did that happen? Right from the get-go, we're teaching people through something that's relevant to them and helping them see the bigger picture of what's really going on in this country. I'm telling you folks, we're going to impact the culture in some pretty significant ways. Over the next 5-10 years, we're going to see some things happen, and Life Leadership is going to be on the front lines. So we're looking for freedom activists to come in and help us build communities. We use a direct sales model to compensate individuals to get involved. And as you come in and help us build communities, wherever you're at, throughout America and throughout the rest of the world, as we build these communities, individuals are compensated. We have individuals that have been involved for just a couple of weeks and are making an additional $300 to $500 every single month. And then you've got individuals that have been involved for a little bit longer and putting more time in. People that have been involved for a year that are making 6-figure incomes, and individuals that have been involved for several years that are making multiple 6-figure incomes. We got individuals making a lot of money. Why? Because our intent is not only to spread the message, we want to become the message. We want to create a massive group of professional freedom activists. And I believe that as you come in and you see more about what we're doing, you're really going to see the vision of what we've got going on. So before too long, you'll have a freedom activist within our organization reaching out to you. We're going to give you more of the details on how we're making this happen. And we hope you will join Life Leadership, where we have fun, make money, make a difference.